Today we're going to do our India map lesson for the India unit. So let's go ahead and get started. You're going to need your world atlas, you're going to need a piece of notebook paper, and you're going to need the instructions that I'll be passing out in a few minutes. So let's go ahead and set up our notebook paper first. At the upper right hand corner, let's put our proper heading, which is first name and last name. Please write your actual name there, not the words first, last name. And then today's date, which is 10 whatever 19 and period number whatever. And we're going to call this the India map lesson. India map lesson. Now the first thing on a map lesson is always going to be the observations. So we're going to write observations here. One, two, three, 4, and 5. And then draw a line underneath 5. Right there. And put map questions down there. Okay, now give everybody a second to get their paper set up, and then we'll get started. Alright, let's get started. The first thing we do is take your atlas and open it up to page 16 and 17. So find page 16 and 17, which is the world map that shows you all the different countries. Okay, you can see all the different countries, and they're all in different colors. Now, before we get started, I want to review with you longitude and latitude. Remember that latitude lines run from left to right. So this long line right here in the middle is a latitude line. It's 0 degrees latitude, and it's called the equator. And the latitude numbers are on the left and the right hand side of the map. So if we zoom in really close over here, we can see that this is 0 degrees line of latitude. It's called the equator. This is 20 north. This is 40 north. This is 60 north. So on 40 north, for example, that line runs all the way across the map. That's 40 degrees north of the equator. As you can see, the United States is right on the 40 degree north line. So 40 degrees north runs right through the United States. Now if you go south, you see, same thing, 0, 20 degrees south, 40 degrees south, 60 degrees south. So the 20 degrees south line runs right through the middle of South America, doesn't it? It hits Chile, Bolivia, and Brazil. Now, the longitude lines are the lines that run north and south, or up and down. Here's the 0 line, and it runs all the way up to the North Pole. So they run from North Pole to South Pole. So every one of these lines along the bottom is numbered in longitudes. So this is 20 degrees east longitude, 40 degrees east longitude, 60 degrees east. So everything over here is on the eastern side of the world. Now look at your book, okay? Everybody look at your book down here at the bottom, not just up at the screen, because the screen's a little blurry. Then go find 0 and look how everything on this side is on the western side of the world. So this is 20 west, 40 west, 60 west, 80 west, right? And for example, if you were to follow, 60 west and go north around the curve, you will see that it goes right into Argentina and the rest of South America. So Argentina and South America are along the 60 west longitude line, right there. Now notice the 80 degree west longitude line is right here. And if I follow that line, I miss South America. But if I go straight up, I hit South America. But notice the line doesn't go straight up because the Earth is curved. So you have to make sure you're following the curve of the longitude lines. Now, let's make an observation right off of this map. Let's go back to the very first observation that I said. Right here. The United States is on 40-degree north line of latitude. So let's make that our first observation. So we're going to go over here to our observation page and we're going to put the USA is 40 degrees north latitude. That's our observation. The USA is 40 degrees north latitude. Now what I want you to do is go back to your page 16 and 17, and I want you to make 4 more observations about latitude and longitude. Okay? 4 more observations. For example, maybe you might want to observe that along the 60-degree west longitude line is Argentina. Maybe you might observe that the 20-degree south line of latitude runs through Chile, Bolivia, and South America. Or maybe you might observe that the island of Madagascar is in between Madagascar is in between 40 east and 60 east. See? Down here, 40 east and 60 east. Madagascar. And Madagascar is also on the, what line is that? 20-degree south latitude line. So make 4 more observations just about longitude or latitude lines on this map. Okay? I'll give you a few minutes to take care of that. Okay? Now, let's take a look at our activity sheet. So the first thing we're going to do, as it says, is now turn to page 96 in the Student World Atlas and find India. Okay, well, I'm going to go to page 96. See, down at the bottom. Looking for 96, 91, there we go, 96. There's page 96. Okay, and now it says to find India. Now, there was a hint there. If you can't find India, look back at the hint in the directions. Look along the bottom edge of the map until you find the 80-degree east line right above the O in ocean. Now follow that line up until you see India. So right down here, look. O in ocean. There's the 80-degree east line. I'm going to follow that north, and there's India right there. Now before we go any farther, I know that the name of this country is India because it's in all capital letters. Now look really closely at the cities. The cities have dots either in front of them or at the end of them, and the cities are written in upper and lowercase letters, like that. Sometimes the countries are real small. See the word Nepal? Well, that's small because it's talking about that small little green country right there, Nepal. But it's still the name of the country. How do I know? Because it's in all capital letters. All right. Well, now we found India. Let's find out what we're supposed to do for number 1. What country borders India to the northwest? Hint, use the compass rose at the bottom if you don't remember directions. Okay, so northwest, India. Here's India. Here's my compass rose down here. Northwest is upper left. So I go back to India, and I go upper left to the next country. And there it is. It's all caps. What's the name of that country? Pakistan. So our first answer for number 1 is Pakistan. Yeah, here we go, down here. First answer for number 1, Pakistan. And a semicolon, because we're going to have more answers for number 1. Okay, did everybody see how I got Pakistan? Pakistan, India, northwest. Okay, let's look at the rest of number 1. What country borders India to the northwest? Pakistan. What country borders India to the northeast? All right, well, back to India and our compass rose. Here's India. Here's the compass rose down here. North and east is upper right. So if I go to India and I go northeast, I get to that little green country we talked about a few minutes ago. Look really closely at that little green country. See it right here? The border lines are white on this map. Well, that country's name is, there it is in all caps, what is it? Nepal. So we go back to our answer sheet, and right after Pakistan, we write down Nepal. And semicolon. Okay, everybody see how I got Nepal? India, northeast, northeast, upper right. All right, let's go back to our sheet. Number 1, what country borders India to the northeast? Nepal. To the north. Now, I didn't write out what country borders India to the north again because I just said it twice in a row. So now I'm just going to put to the north. That means I'm still talking about countries to the north. So I go back to India. North is straight up. So I'm going to follow that line straight up. And what's that purple country I get to right in here? Well, now, is that the country name right there next to that dot? No. The purple country is, what's that name? China. All right, we'll go back to our sheet. And the answer is China. Now we're ready to finish up number 1. What is the capital of India? All right, now we're going back to India again, and this time we're looking for a capital city. Now, if you look at your key right here, national capitals are a star with a circle around it. All right, any other kind of capital is going to be a star. So a national capital is what we're looking for. So we go to India, and we're looking around in India for the national capital. And here's my star with a circle on it. Let me zoom in for you. Look up at the screen. Here's my star with a circle on it. What city's name is closest to that star? Is it Delhi or New Delhi? Or is it Nepal? Well, it can't be Nepal because Nepal is all caps, which means it's the name of this country. So it has to be New Delhi. So our answer for the capital of India is New Delhi. So everybody write down New Delhi on their answer sheet. And we should be done with number 1. Pakistan, Nepal, China, and New Delhi. Skip a line and we'll start number 2 together. All right. Number 2. Now move west to Pakistan. Now the last place I left you was India. So from India, we're going west to Pakistan. Now we just looked at Pakistan a second ago. Here's New Delhi. We go west, which is to the left, and there's Pakistan. Okay, now I'm in Pakistan. What am I supposed to do? Well, the rest of number 2 is, what is the capital of Pakistan? Okay, so in Pakistan, I'm looking for the star. Now if you look up north, look up here. Here's the star. And you can just barely see that word. That's a capital I. Can everybody read that? Look at your own map in your booklet. That word is Islamabad. I-S-L-A-M-A-B-A-D. So that's our capital of India. So let me zoom out, and we're going to write Islamabad for number 2. I-S-L-A-M-A-B-A-D, semicolon. Give you a second to do that. Okay. Now, what's the rest of number 2 say? What is the capital of Pakistan? We got that. What country is to the northwest of Pakistan? All right, well, we go back to Pakistan, and this time we're going northwest. Well, that's right, in this direction. Remember, northwest, according to the compass rose, is upper left. So we're going to go Pakistan, upper left, and we get straight into that yellow country. And what's the name of that yellow country? Is it going to be, let me zoom this in. Is the name of that yellow country going to be Kabul, or is it Afghanistan? Well, Afghanistan is all caps, so that must be the country name. So let's back off of that. And the next answer for number 2 is Afghanistan. A-F-G-H-A-N-I-S-T-A-N. Afghanistan. Next part of number 2. What country is to the northwest of Pakistan? We got that. What is the capital of Afghanistan? All right. Well, it was that other word. If Afghanistan is all caps, the only other word in the whole yellow country is Kabul, and it's right next to that star. Oops. It's right next to that star, Kabul. So we go back to our sheet. The third answer for number 2 is Kabul. Semicolon. Let's see, is there anything left for number 2? What is the capital of Afghanistan? Kabul. What country is to the west of both Pakistan and Afghanistan? All right. Pakistan, we already found Pakistan, Afghanistan, right there. What country is to the west of both of them? We go west. Well, what's the name of this country? Is it this word, this word, this word? What's the name of this country? Okay, it's Iran. So we go to number 3, or the last one here. I put Iran. That was not your bell. All right, now, last one for number 2. What is the capital of Iran? Well, we go back to Iran. Now, there's a bunch of cities here. Let's look really closely. First, we need to find the star that is inside Iran. Now, I see 2 stars up here. This one and this one. This one is not in the green part. This one is over here in this small purple country. Even though the word for that star is printed inside of Iran, that actual star is not in Iran. They just couldn't fit the word anyplace else. So this star is the capital of Iran, and the name of this star is, what? Is it Ashgabat, Mashhad, or Tehran? Well, look closely. It's Tehran. So Tehran is our next answer for number 2. Iran, semicolon, Tehran. And that's the end of number 2. Now number 3. Now look at the physical map on page 97 and find India. All right. Well, now before we do that, here's India here. We want to find this same triangle piece of land on the map on the next page. Can you find it? Take a minute and find it. Here's my 80-degree line. So if I follow that north, there's that same triangle piece of land, but it's not labeled India. Well, if you look really closely, you will see that none of these countries are labeled. None of these countries are labeled. There's no India here. Here's Pakistan. Here's Afghanistan. Here's Iran. Look, they're not labeled. That's because this map only shows you mountains and rivers and plateaus and things like that. But this is India. That's India. So everybody get to India on the green map. Okay? Hold my map back. Okay. Now I'm on India. So what I'm supposed to do next? Look at the physical map of 97, find India. I can't use 80-degree line. Now, find Pakistan. Okay, well, if that's India, Does anybody remember where Pakistan was? If you don't remember where Pakistan was, flip your map over and find Pakistan again. Right here is to the left of India. So there's India, there's Pakistan. So if I go to the same spot, here's India and here's Pakistan. Notice the red lines, those are border lines. Those are border lines. All right, so we found Pakistan. What are we supposed to do with it? Two lines intersect in the middle of Pakistan. What are the numbers of those two lines? Hint, the longitude line running up and down is not numbered, but the lines on either side are. Figure it out. Hint, the latitude line running east and west curves to the top of the map. So I'm going back here to Pakistan, and I found these two lines right there. See the two lines that intersect? Here's the longitude line, and there's the latitude line. All right? Let's tackle the longitude line first. I need to follow that all the way down to the bottom of the map, and there's no number. But that's a number, and that's a number, so what number is in the middle? That's right, 70 degrees. So I go back to my sheet, and I put 70 degrees. Is it east or west? It's east. Okay? Now, let's tackle a latitude line. So we go back to our intersection here. We've already got that 70 degrees. Here's the latitude line. And the hint was that if you follow this to the left, the latitude line curves all the way up. All the way up. Do use your book while I'm doing this. Don't just use my screen. To 30 degrees north. So it curves because the earth is round. Alright? So, it's the 30 degree north line. So we go back here, 70 east, 30 north. That's our two lines. Alright, so we found our two lines. Now let's find out what's supposed to happen next. Two lines intersect in the middle of Pakistan. What are the numbers? And that's it. So we're done. We're done with number 3, aren't we? Okay? So everybody got that? Let's go to number 4. What is the name of the river that flows near the intersection of 70 east and 30 north? Well, now 70 east and 30 north is exactly where we just were. So let's go back to that intersection right in the middle of Pakistan and look really, really close. And right there, right underneath our intersection is the actual name of the river. There's the river. It runs right there. That is the Indus River. See that up on the screen? I zoomed in on it for you. There's the Indus River. It goes way up into these mountains. All right, so let's write down Indus River on our answer sheet. Okay, next part of number 4. What mountain range does that river flow from? Okay, well, if we zoom back in or look really closely on your book, everybody look at your book real close right here. Find that river. It goes up into these mountains. What are these mountains called? Well, there's a name right there, Hindu Kush, and it's written right along those mountains, Hindu Kush. Okay? So that's the name of the mountains. So we go back here to our answer sheet and write Hindu Kush. Sorry. Okay. Now let's see what else number 4 asks. What mountain range does that river flow? That's it. So number 4 is done. Okay, so back to number 4 here. We're good with number 4. Let's go to number 5. All right, let's see what number 5 says. Now, go back to India and find the Deccan Plateau. Okay, back to India. Right smack in India, there is the Deccan Plateau. Everybody see that? Now, what does it say? So what? I found it. So what? What river is to the south of this region? Okay, well, there's the Deccan Plateau, and there sure is a river. Let's see, how do you spell that? Looks like there it is right there. Godavari River. So that's what we're gonna write for number 5. The Godavari River. Godavari River. Semicolon. The Godavari River. Right, back to our sheet. Number 5, what river is to the south of this region? What river is to the north of this region? Okay, Deccan Plateau. North is up. I go north. There's a river right there. Anybody can read that for me? Ganges River. Okay, so I go back to my sheet. Semicolon. Ganges River. Okay, now we're almost done with number 5. North of this region, Ganges River. Which mountain range does the Ganges River flow from? All right, now this is going to be tricky because it's kind of hard to see the Ganges River in there, but look really close. You can follow that river up, right up into here. Now, there's a great big mountain range right there. And the name of it is right there. You should be familiar with that. There it is. Himalayas. That's the Himalaya Mountains, the tallest mountain range in the world. Okay, so that's the mountain range where the Ganges River flows from. So, we're going to put a semicolon after Ganges River and write Himalayas. And that's number 5. Number 6. Now, this can get tricky. Look very closely at the Himalayas on page 97. There is a country in the mountains. Can you find that country? Let's see if we can find it first. Real close. If you look right here, you can see the red line. It goes down to here. And then it goes up, and it goes across the top of the HIM right there. Can everybody find that line? There's a country there. Now, what I want you to do, number 6 says what? Compare that area with the same area on the map on page 96. What country is in the Himalayas? All right. So, we're comparing this spot right here to the map on page 96. I'm going to flip over and I'm looking at this spot right here. Let's do this a couple of times. Here, here. So we have noticed the big triangle right there. Notice my box right above that dotted line. Let's find that dotted line over here. Well, there it is, right above that dotted line. What's the only country above that dotted line other than India? Right there, the green one that we looked at the other day. Okay? Nepal. All right, so what was our question said, what country, number 6, what country is in the Himalayas? Well, the answer is Nepal. Okay. Next part of number 6. What major mountain peak is located in Nepal? Well, now that we know where Nepal is, let's look really close for a mountain peak located in Nepal. Now, mountain peaks are labeled by triangles. Here's one way up here, and here's one down here. Now, which one is in Nepal? Well, this one down here is. And what's the name of that mountain peak? Well, there's the word right there, Mount, M-T, Mount Everest. You've heard of Mount Everest. And look how tall it is, 29,035 feet. Mount Everest. So that's our answer for the second half of number 6, is Mount Everest. Okay, semicolon. Okay, last part of number 6. What major mountain peak is located in Nepal? How easy was it for people long ago to travel from India into China and explain? Well, let's take a look. Here's China up here. Let's take a look at this map. Here's India, here's China, so they have to get from here up into China. Well, that's not very far. Let's take a look at this map. They have to go from here up into China. Now, would it be easy to go from here to China or hard? And you need to explain why. Okay? I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that, and then we're going to go to number 7 together. So do that on your own. Okay, number 7. Now, turn to the population map on page 98 and find India and Pakistan. Okay, let's see if we can do that. So we're going to page 98. Just one page over. And we're looking for India and Pakistan. And we found these guys once. Right there's India. Right there's Pakistan. And the directions tell us to study that region closely for a few seconds. Notice the colors and what they mean. All right, well, let's do that. So I'm looking at this. I see a lot of colors. I see some dark reds and some lighter oranges. I see some tan and some brown. What do all these colors mean? Well, in the population key, it says that the darker the color, the more people live there. Okay, over 520 people per square mile in the darker regions, and only 25 to 129 in the lighter regions, and in the very light regions, hardly anybody lives there. Just 1 to 24 people per square mile. So, right off the bat, which country, India or Pakistan, has the most people living in it? Well, it looks to me like it's pretty obvious. All right, but it didn't ask us that. Number 7 doesn't ask us that. Now, you will compare the population map on 98 with the climate and annual precipitation maps on page 100. Using the information on one or both of the maps on page 100, explain why so many people live in India and so few people live in Pakistan. Well, let's go to page 100 real quick. Here's 100. We've got 2 maps we're supposed to look at. The climate map is at the top. Climate. And the annual precipitation map, or how much rain it gets, is at the bottom. Now, they've labeled the countries for you. Here's India, there's Pakistan. Here's India, here's Pakistan. We already determined, let's flip back, that most people live in India and not Pakistan. So looking at the 2 maps, what can you infer about why more people live down here than live up here? And why more people live down here than live up there in Pakistan. So look at it very closely, and I want you to come to a conclusion about why so many people live in India and not Pakistan. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Okay, now let's go back to number 8. Look at the annual precipitation map on page 100. Which side of India receives more rain? Well, here's annual precipitation map. You can see that the dark purple means they get over 230 centimeters or 80 inches of rain a year. So which side of India, the eastern or western side, gets more rain? Now, there's no compass rose over here, but I can tell you east is to the right and west is to the left. So that's pretty simple. We're going to go to number 8, and the answer is the western side. Oopsie. Notice I left 7 blank because I want you to figure out that on your own. Western side. Okay? All right, last question, number 9. You zoom out here. Now look at the column of climate graphs along the right side of page 100. First, study the key in the top graph. Okay, so we're on the right side of page 100, and there's a whole column of graphs over here. See them all? All right, let's take a look at the very top one so we can see what the key shows. So the key shows that on this side, you've got temperature, average daily temperature range in Fahrenheit. So A high of 100, low is 65. So that's your average temperature, and over here is average monthly precipitation in inches. So that's up to 20 inches. Now, just as an example, Almaty, Kazakhstan, in January, it's pretty cold. High is 32, low is down to 0. In April, high is 65, low is, I don't know, 40. July, there's the temperature, and October, there's the temperature. So temperature is on this side, and rainfall is on that side. So in October, how much rain does Kazakhstan get? Well, maybe an inch, 2 inches in October. All right. Notice Colombo. It's quite a bit hotter in Colombo, Sri Lanka. Okay, Colombo is the capital of Sri Lanka, and it's quite a bit hotter, and they get a lot more rain. Look at that. In October, they get 12, 15 inches of rain in October. All right. Now that we understand the graph, let's see what the question's asking us. Now find the climate graph for New Delhi, India. All right. Well, let's find New Delhi, India. There it is. There's New Delhi, India. Everybody find New Delhi, India, and look at that climate graph. Look on your book, not just up on the screen. Which month is the hottest and wettest month of the year? Okay, so New Delhi. Which month is the hottest and wettest? All right, well, the hottest and wettest month for New Delhi is going to be July. Okay, so we go back here to our sheet, number 9. We write July, semicolon. Okay, and then it says, now go up and find the climate graph for Dhaka, Bangladesh. See, that's the city, that's the country. Compare that graph with the New Delhi graph. Which city receives more rain throughout the year? Okay, well, let's find Dhaka, Bangladesh. There it is. There it is right there. Okay? And we're comparing that to New Delhi, India. So we've got Dhaka right here and New Delhi right there. Now, how much rain does Dhaka get? Well, in April they get about 5. In July they get about 15. That's 20 total. And in October they get 5 more. So that's about 25 inches of rain a year, right? Okay. New Delhi, India. Well, New Delhi gets no rain, very little rain in January, none in April, none in October, and only about 8 to 9 inches in July. So our question was, in number 9, which city receives more rain throughout the year? Well, the answer is going to be Dhaka. Okay? Now that you're finished with that, you need to get one of these blank maps right there and use your instructions under the map activity to complete the blank map activity. Okay? Go ahead and do that now.